All right, Ava, you're going to finish us out today. Talk to us about your encounter here and how it's changed how you do Ava.
Yeah, so I was also raised in church from the time I was born. I remember being filled with the Holy Spirit for the first time at like 8 or 10 years old. So I was raised knowing what the voice of God sounded like. I always knew his voice. In fact, I actually heard at a teruah, the first teruah, I think, when I was 12 years old, really who I was, who he made me to be. However, when I got into like upper middle school and high school, I started deciding that I didn't really hear from God anymore, and he didn't really want to hear from me either. And so I just went with whatever everybody else was doing, was constantly chasing after what satisfies the flesh and whatever I wanted to do. I was chasing after careers that would make the most money, just looking into whatever can make me the happiest. So I was still going to church just kind of out of obligation, just like check that off the list so I don't go to hell if I die tomorrow. And one Sunday I was getting ready to go to church somewhere else, and as I was getting ready, I heard the voice of God again, and it had been years, and I was like, that's him, I remember. And he said, you need to go to Redemption Life today. And I hadn't thought about Redemption Life since I was like 12 years old at the first teruah, and I was like, okay. Okay. So I'm on the way. I was thinking I'm just going to pull in the parking lot, see how I feel, maybe turn around and go home. But that's kind of impossible with this parking team. So
Let's give it up for the parking team. Come on. You make it impossible for people to leave. I love it.
So I was forced to come in, and it was a pretty normal service. I was like, God, why did you actually ask me to come here? Like, this is exactly what I would have experienced anywhere else. And then at the very end, when I thought, like, it's really time to be leaving this place, like, I'm hungry, John comes back up on stage, and I just knew, like, I need to stay for this. And she sits down right over there, and she sang for like 15 minutes. I recorded it. It was 15 minutes. And the whole gist of what she sang was, you were made for so much more than this. Chase after what God has put in you. Stop making it try to calculate to a paycheck. Just was hitting all of the marks that I had been not hitting. And I actually saw her on the way out the door, and we probably hadn't seen each other in years. And she was like, I don't care what anybody says, that was for you. And yes, like after that encounter, I was changed. But I want to add to, like, after you have an encounter like that, it's not like you wake up the next morning and are like, oh, this is the more that she was talking about. Like, it took several years, 3 years, I think, when thinking about it, being connected to this body to really realize, oh, that's a little piece of the more. And now that we're 3 years in, I kind of look back every single day and I'm like, oh my goodness, I didn't know there was this much more. And so it really takes just being connected to a faith family and a body to really experience, this is who you've made me to be.